Stop for a moment. Hold your breath. Don't move. Listen carefully, because something is happening to you right now, whether you feel it or not. And it is not something your mind alone can comprehend. This moment is not ordinary, and what is reaching you right now is not human in origin. It is a sound that travels through spirit before it touches your ears, a signal that presses against the edges of your consciousness, like a hand gripping your shoulder in the dark. You are being pulled into a scene that was written long before you were born, a scene where the unseen breaks into the visible and demands your attention with the force of destiny itself. There are truths that have waited for years to confront you, truths that have circled around your life like watchful sentinels waiting for the right second to speak. That second is now. Nothing around you is accidental in this moment. Not the timing, not the feeling in your chest, not the tug in your spirit. Everything converges here. You are hearing this because your spirit has been shaking, trembling, restless, sensing something approaching like a storm rolling over the horizon. And now that storm has arrived, speaking directly to you with the weight of eternity behind every word. Before you go any further, write your warmest wishes in the comments and seal them with 777 as your activation code, because there are things in your future that can only unlock when your intention becomes visible in the spiritual realm. Do not hesitate. Do not overthink it. Your wishes must be spoken, released, witnessed, and placed before heaven, because ignoring what calls you in this hour has already cost you more than you know. Now speak them, release them, and declare 777 as your alignment. After you write them, like this video and subscribe right now with full obedience, because instructions that come at this level are not optional. They are tests, thresholds, and prophetic checkpoints. Listen to me. You can feel the weight of this moment because the realm above you is shifting and demanding your attention. Do as you are told. Do it now. There is a reason the air around you feels heavier, as if the atmosphere itself is leaning closer. For a long time, something has been standing behind your life, watching you take steps that carried consequences you did not fully see. You have been wandering through timelines that were never meant to trap you. There have been whispers, warnings, inner alarms, sudden fears in the night, unexpected chills that ran down your spine without explanation. All of these were signals that you were drifting too far from a path that was carved specifically for your destiny. But even when you drifted, even when your spirit grew quiet, heaven continued tracking you, marking your movements, waiting for the moment when you would finally stop and listen. That moment has arrived because a shift has begun, a divine recalibration, a spiritual correction, a pulling back of someone who has wandered too close to the borders of danger. And now the words are being spoken that you were never meant to escape. Something in your chest already knows this message is not random. It is the echo of something ancient calling you home. You have felt the edge of this warning before. There were days when your body reacted before your mind understood anything at all. Your heart would beat harder for no reason. Your nerves would tremble. You would get sudden flashes of fear or clarity that seemed to come from nowhere. Those were not coincidences. That was divine biology reacting to unseen interference. The invisible realm has always interacted with your physical form. Your cells remember what your mind forgot. They carry Eden memory, traces of the original blueprint before life's chaos rewrote parts of your identity. There were moments when your DNA tried to awaken something inside you, tugging you back toward alignment, pulling you away from choices that were not meant for your destiny. Every time your spirit felt uneasy, every time a door closed abruptly, every time you felt drained without explanation, you were brushing against the consequences of ignoring what was calling you. And now the call has become louder, sharper, unavoidable. There are angels assigned to you who have watched you walk directly into traps designed to break you. They have intervened more times than you know. They have blocked accidents in the final second. They have whispered into your intuition when danger approached disguised as opportunity. They have pushed you away from people whose intentions were masked behind kindness. They have stood at the edges of your bed in the middle of the night when you thought you were alone, monitoring the spiritual atmosphere around you, shifting frequencies, altering timelines, and holding back forces that were never meant to touch you. But protection is not endless when warnings are ignored. Even the strongest guardians step back when a human spirit refuses to listen, because free will is a gate they will not break. That is why you are hearing this now, because the time for drifting has ended, and the cost of continuing as you have cannot be absorbed any longer. There are hidden enemies around you who have studied your patterns, your weaknesses, your dreams, your silence. They know when your spirit is tired. They know when your hope collapses for a moment. They know when you doubt yourself, when you shrink, when you lose focus. These enemies are not people alone. Some are spiritual systems, ancient structures, patterns passed down through bloodlines, old agreements made by ancestors, unfinished battles you inherited without choosing. These enemies wait for you to ignore the inner pull. They wait for you to turn away from the voice calling your name. Every time you hesitate, they get closer. Every time you delay, they gain ground. Every time you numb your spirit, they regain access to things that were once taken from them. But tonight, the cycle breaks because what is reaching you is not a suggestion. It's a spiritual intervention. Your destiny has been suspended between two timelines, the one you are living and the one that was meant for you. The distance between them has been shrinking rapidly. This message is the collision point. Your steps after this will determine which timeline becomes permanent. For years, heaven has been rearranging events, pulling certain people out of your life, allowing certain losses to weaken attachments that were poisoning your purpose. You cried over what was actually saving you. You begged for what would have broken you. You grieved doors that were slammed shut to protect your future. And through all of it, the divine realm watched you, waiting for the moment when your spirit would finally become soft enough to receive instruction. That softness is here now. You can feel it in the way your body responds to these words, in the way your breath slows, in the way your spirit leans closer. Something ancient is waking up inside you. Your life has been marked for a level of transformation so deep that even your cells will change. Divine rewiring is already beginning. Heaven is reconstructing your emotional patterns, replacing old survival instincts with spiritual intelligence. Your nervous system is being recalibrated. Your spirit is being pulled back into alignment. You will notice strange sensations in the coming days: pressure in the chest, sudden clarity, intense dreams, intuitive warnings that feel like someone speaking through your bones. These are not abnormalities. These are signs of spiritual surgery, angels working on you in unseen realms, reconstructing everything that was damaged when you drifted off the path. You are being recoded. Destiny is being reactivated. There is a moment in every life chosen for higher purpose when the atmosphere shifts so abruptly that the person feels as if they have been thrown into a new dimension without moving a muscle. That is what is happening to you now. You have crossed an invisible threshold, a fault line between who you were allowed to be and who you were designed to become. And once that line is crossed, nothing can remain the same. Not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your habits, not your spiritual sensitivity. Even now, something in your chest is expanding, as if another version of you is pushing from the inside, demanding to rise, demanding to breathe, demanding to take control. This is not imagination. This is the activation of dormant spiritual architecture that has been waiting in silence, like a lion sleeping beneath your ribs. And now it wakes, slowly at first, then violently, because the destiny assigned to you has grown too heavy to remain chained to the patterns that once seduced you into spiritual numbness. You have been walking through life, carrying burdens that were never yours. There are emotional weights, memories, and wounds that attached themselves to you like spiritual parasites, feeding on your hope, draining your energy, manipulating your perception of reality. Some of these came from people you trusted. Some came from betrayals that still echo inside your nervous system. Some came from seasons when you were spiritually asleep, allowing the wrong voices to shape your identity. But you are not the same person now. As you listen, the unseen realm is peeling these attachments off your life layer by layer. They are losing their grip, trembling under the pressure of a divine command that has gone out in your name. Heavenly hands are removing these burdens from your spirit with the precision of a surgeon. They are cutting away what was poisoning your clarity, reconstructing your inner world with frequencies that match your original blueprint. Even your heartbeat is responding, adjusting, synchronizing with the rhythm of heaven itself. There is a reason your mind has been restless lately. You have been sensing a shift that your conscious thoughts could not articulate. Your dreams have become more vivid, more symbolic, more intense. At times you wake up with a feeling that something is watching over you, something ancient, something that knows your name in ways no human ever has. That sensation is not a threat. It is recognition. It is the realm that created you calling you back into alignment, reminding you of the mission your spirit agreed to before it entered the physical world. Yes, there was an agreement, shaped in the unseen, long before your first breath. And though life tried to erase that memory, it could not fully succeed. The agreement is resurfacing. The contract is reactivating. And heaven is calling in the debt of destiny. Many of the challenges you faced in the past year were not punishments. They were exposures. You were shown who truly stood with you and who only stood near you. You were shown the truth behind smiles. You were shown the motives behind certain friendships. You were shown the emptiness behind promises that were never meant to be kept. These revelations were not random. They were part of a divine filtering process. Every person who left, every door that shut, every connection that soured, carried spiritual meaning. Some people had to be removed because their energy would have corrupted what you are about to carry. Some were removed because they were spiritually incompatible with your next assignment. Some were removed because heaven heard conversations about you that you never knew existed. You were protected from betrayals that would have destroyed the softness of your spirit. You were rescued from atmospheres that were poisoning you slowly. And though loss hurt you, each loss preserved you. There is a hidden world that watches your every choice, not to punish you, but to measure your readiness. Angels are not passive beings drifting through light. They are watchers, witnesses, and warriors. They observe the alignment of your spirit. They track the condition of your soul. They know when you are walking into spiritual danger and when you are stepping into divine favor. They know when interference is approaching your life, and they stand guard like soldiers stationed at the gate of your destiny. But even their protection has limits when your free will rebels against spiritual instruction. That is why this message reaches you with urgency. The Watchers have seen what is forming around your life, and their intervention is a warning as much as it is a rescue. Recently, you have felt moments of sudden heaviness, strange pressure behind your eyes, weight on your chest, fatigue that comes without physical cause. These sensations are not random. They reveal that your spirit has been absorbing conflict meant for the unseen realm. Darkness attempted to negotiate access to your life through emotional exhaustion. It sought to weaken your intuition, to silence your discernment, to make you numb to spiritual signals. But you were not abandoned. The divine realm pushed back. Angels formed a barrier around your mind, redirecting attacks that were designed to fracture your focus. You survived spiritual warfare that you did not even realize you were in. And now, heaven is demanding that you rise into awareness. Because battles you can't see still leave marks on the soul. A recalibration is taking place inside you. Frequency alignment is occurring, subtle, powerful, unstoppable. Your spirit is being tuned to a higher resonance, so you can hear what lower versions of you were deaf to. As the alignment intensifies, you may notice waves of emotion rising unexpectedly. One moment you feel peace, the next you feel tension. Then suddenly, clarity breaks through like a ray of light piercing a storm. This is the rewiring. This is the reconstruction. This is your inner world being rebuilt into something stronger, sharper, spiritually intelligent. Pieces of you that were fractured by disappointment are being fused back into wholeness. Old timelines are collapsing. New pathways are forming. You are entering a phase of accelerated spiritual evolution, where growth will happen at a speed that shocks even you. In the unseen realm, angels are performing a kind of surgery on your destiny. They are removing old agreements of defeat, cutting away patterns that were implanted by trauma, pulling out spiritual debris left behind by people who mishandled your heart. They are stitching your identity back into its divine form. They are repairing memories that once triggered fear, so they will now trigger wisdom. They are restoring your spiritual eyesight, so you can see beyond deception. They are activating Eden memory, so your soul remembers peace, strength, and purpose, as they were originally designed. You are being rebuilt from the inside out with materials made of light. And yet, even now, there is more I must reveal. There is a moment, right before a destiny fully activates, when the entire spiritual realm goes silent. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is aligning at once. That silence has wrapped itself around your life lately. An eerie stillness, a sense that something is gathering strength behind the scenes. You have felt it in the way your intuition has sharpened, in the way your emotions have become more sensitive, in the way certain people suddenly stand out as either aligned with you or completely distant. That is not coincidence. It is spiritual separation, a dividing line between what can continue with you and what must remain behind. Everything in your life is being sifted because the path ahead cannot support the weight of the past. Even now, you can sense something's restructuring you from within, something powerful, ancient, and unstoppable. It is not just transformation. It is reclamation. Heaven is reclaiming its investment in you. You may think you have reached the limit of what your heart can carry, but you have not even touched the beginning of who you truly are. There is a version of you that exists in the divine blueprint, stronger, clearer, spiritually fortified, unshakable. That version has been trying to break through the layers of fear and confusion that life placed around you. Every moment of pressure you faced was designed to crack open those layers, to expose the true form of your spirit. Every disappointment, every heartbreak, every closed door was a hammer in the hands of heaven, breaking away the shell that kept your identity small. You were not being punished. You were being uncovered. The real you is emerging, the one built to carry assignments bigger than your surroundings, the one shaped for battles you didn't know you were engaged in, the one created to walk with a level of clarity that leaves no room for spiritual ignorance. You have gone through seasons where everything felt like loss, but in truth, everything was being repositioned. You were being removed from atmospheres that diluted your strength. Your spirit grew restless because the environment around you could no longer sustain your calling. You were shifted, stretched, unsettled, because heaven was moving you away from the familiar into the necessary. You did not fail. Your old season expired. And when a season ends, the soul feels like it is tooing, even though it is being reborn. that ache, that heaviness, that confusion. Those were birth pains, not signs of collapse. Your life was not falling apart. It was being reconfigured by divine engineering. If you could see the unseen realm for even one moment, you would understand the intensity of what surrounds you. You would see angels stationed at the edges of your future, preparing pathways, altering outcomes, shielding you from accidents that were meant to unfold. You would see darkness attempting to infiltrate your thoughts, only to be blocked by forces assigned to you since childhood. You would see your name glowing in realms your eyes cannot perceive, marked as someone who carries spiritual authority even when you feel weak. You would see every tear you cried collected as data for your restoration. Nothing has been wasted, nothing has been ignored, nothing has been overlooked. But here is what heaven needs you to understand with absolute clarity. Your future cannot be built on half listening. Your assignment cannot grow from selective obedience. Your destiny cannot rise if you drift in and out of spiritual awareness. The consequences of ignoring what calls you are real, heavy, and costly. Not because the divine realm wishes to harm you, but because darkness always exploits spiritual negligence. When you ignore alignment, interference increases. When you ignore intuition, deception becomes easier to disguise. When you ignore the pull of your destiny, timelines begin to collapse around you. This is why the urgency in your spirit has become louder than ever. This is why warnings have intensified. This is why you feel watched, not by threat, but by purpose. You are being pulled back from the edge of a path that leads to spiritual erosion. You are entering a season where every choice holds more weight. The atmosphere around your life is becoming more electrically charged because you are stepping into an assignment that requires your full awareness. Spiritual sensitivity will become your greatest weapon. Discernment will become your shield. Silence will become your compass. And obedience will become the bridge between who you are and who you were always meant to be. The days ahead will move quickly. Opportunities will appear that feel like destiny disguised as coincidence. People will show up whose presence feels both familiar and divine. Doors that were locked for years will open without resistance. All of this will happen because heaven has decided it is time. But you must stay alert. Delays from this point forward will not be harmless. They will be costly. Distractions will not be small. They will be dangerous. Your future requires your full attention. Your spirit is undergoing a final phase of reconstruction. Think of it as spiritual biotechnology. Heaven is rewriting frequencies inside your cells, adjusting your internal compass, strengthening your boundaries. Emotional scars are being closed at the molecular level. Old trauma imprints are being dissolved. Memories that once triggered pain are losing their power because angelic intervention is dismantling their internal coding. You may feel strange sensations, warmth in your chest, tingling in your spine, pressure in your forehead, sudden clarity flooding your mind. These are signs that your spiritual vision is being restored. You are beginning to see beyond the physical world into the architecture of divine purpose. Testimonies from lives connected to your assignment have already begun. People who barely knew you have felt nudges to pray for you. Situations that should have ended badly somehow reversed themselves. Moments where you should have fallen apart resulted in unexpected strength rising out of nowhere. This is not luck. This is not chance. This is heaven weaving protection into your life, ensuring that you survive long enough to step into the identity that was written for you. You are more guarded than you realize, more supported than you can perceive, more guided than your conscious mind can understand. But now comes the turning point, the moment where you choose alignment or drift, clarity or confusion, destiny or delay. This message is not simply inspiration. It is a spiritual summons. You are being called back into divine order with a force that will not release you until you respond with your life, your focus, your obedience, your awareness. Heaven has extended protection, correction, and guidance. Now, heaven demands attention, not out of anger, but out of urgency, because what is coming requires your full transformation. You have been warned by intuition. You have been nudged by dreams. You have been shaken by sudden disruptions. You have been guided by strange coincidences. All of these were messages. All of them were attempts to pull you back into alignment. And now the final call has reached you. The moment of awakening is here. The shift has begun. Your destiny is no longer waiting. It is activating. Step into it now, fully, completely, without hesitation. Because everything that comes next depends on the choices you make from this moment forward. If you want anything expanded, polished, or continued in another style, just tell me.